Hi, I'm Matt Pierce, your host. You're watching TheForge. We've got a very seasonal episode for you. We're going to be talking about some new releases from TechSmith, Camtasia Relay 4 and Camtasia for Mac 2. It's going to be great stuff. We've also got some pro tips from Daniel Park, professional screencaster. And then we've got some of that seasonal stuff going on. We want to give you some things and give you an update on the ScreenChamp Awards. And we're live with TheForge. Hi, we've got a couple of cleanup things before we get talking to our first guest. Reminder, if you're following us on Twitter, hashtag TSCForge. You can always email us question, comments, thoughts at theforge@techsmith.com. A little bit later, if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching live, we're going to be talking about how you can win some really cool swag from TechSmith. Got that later, though. So let's switch to Jess Knot, is one of our instructional designers here at TechSmith. The fantastic Jess Knot. You know her and love her if you're in the Love Lansing area. She's here to talk about Relay 4, our new release. Hi, Jess.
I am here to talk about Relay 4.
Yeah.
Very briefly.
All right. So first of all, let's give before we go into what's new. What is Relay for those that may be watching it and don't know?
I was hoping you'd know. No, seriously. So Camtasia Relay, we refer to it as a lecture capture solution, but I hesitate to say that because it does so much more. Basically, what you do is capture your whole screen and everything that's going on it. And then you send your video to a server to be processed, and you're notified when it's done. Everything is based on profiles, so all you'd have to do is pick like Flash, Medium, and send it up, and you know exactly what you're going to get when you're finished.
So it's really much more about the capture piece, less editing. That's still done with Camtasia Studio or Camtasia Mac. And then it does this process. So if you're an organization, a university, corporation, you could capture your meetings, you could capture presentations, things like that.
And if you have Camtasia Relay, you can send your Camtasia Studio or Camtasia for the Mac projects to be rendered on the Relay server, so you're not taking up all your bandwidth on your computer.
Ah, nice. Not using your resources for
bandwidth was the wrong term for geeks, but yeah, so you're not using all your processing. Right.
So let's get into what is new with this and why should people be interested in this version of Relay?
We have camera.
Camera.
We have camera. So before, Camtasia Relay would really just capture your screen, and now we have the camera feature. So it'll recognize all the cameras you have hooked up to your computer.
Very cool. So if you're a lecturer, I guess if I was doing something like this and capturing it, we could actually capture what we're doing, correct?
Yeah. So if I just pick the built-in eyesight, you'll see here your preview shows what you're going to see as a final product. So no matter what I move around, what I love about this is that recording preview really just shows me everything that's going to happen, and it updates live.
Very cool.
These are the profiles I would pick from, so I can do like flash to screencast. This was all set up by our administrator here at TechSmith. Here I've got the automatic audio level, so if I start yelling really loud, you'll see that it turns down. I'm sorry, I just yelled really loud into your microphone, but Camtasia Relay didn't care because it automatically adjusted my audio, unlike Kelly in our booth. He is not automatic.
We like to keep him on his toes. So.
He's going to talk to me later a little bit, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, so we're really excited about camera. This has been something that was kind of a gap in our functionality, and now it's really nice to have that available. We also have a global caption editor role so that faculty members or lecturers don't have to caption their own presentations. They can have somebody do that for them specifically.
So if they have some staff or TA or somebody that they can get to do that, they can do that. Well, I think the other thing that is intriguing to me about the camera is that was a feature request by a number of our users, and we at TechSmith, we like to listen, and then hence we tried to do what we thought.
Absolutely. If you want to talk to us anytime at feedback.techsmith.com, I'm not only there in the Get Satisfaction site, but also the developers are. And often they get there before me. So if you have suggestions for Camtasia Relay, just let us know.
I believe there was another cool feature, an output feature, going to...
We can now go to YouTube. I don't have that configured right here, but the newest output is that we can go directly from Camtasia Relay to YouTube, which has been a highly requested feature, and now that's available too.
So if you got questions about Relay, again, if you want to ask people, feedback@techsmith.com. Go to our site, check out all the cool stuff. There's actually this really cool video put together by several people here at TechSmith that show more about what Relay is. Jess, thanks for coming in and giving us a highlight. Next, we're going to bring on live here another one of our instructional designers, Conan Heiselt, our resident maker, He pushes the MakerBot and makes it do things and maybe melt snowmen. He's here to talk about Camtasia for Mac. Conan, welcome.
Right, thank you.
And we just had a release. This came out on Tuesday as well.
Same day as Relay.
So mixing them together. So
Excellent.
Obviously, I think most of our viewers probably know Camtasia for Mac, screen capture for the Mac.
Right.
What should we know right off the bat about this version?
Aside from just it's awesome, it's amazing. I mean, 1 was great, but 2 is, I think 2, it's really, really arrived and it's amazing. It'll improve how quickly you can make amazing screencasts.
Okay. So what are the any features that you're particularly fond of that you think may help people to do what you just said?
Well, the UI has been improved. It's not completely redone, but sure. So the UI has been improved a lot. This area over here on the left side, where your media is, in the past, the library with the callouts and stuff has been redesigned to allow a lot more content in the same area without getting too cluttered, and it makes it easier for you to add that to your timeline or to your canvas.
Very cool. So if you were to give some tips, as people upgrade from 1 to 2, or they're just coming at it for the first time, what are some of the things you would say, hey, this is going to make your life easy? Like what could we do here?
Right. Kind of one tip that I try to get all Camtasia users to know, whether they're on 1 or 2, is that whatever size you're editing at is going to be the size that you share at.
Okay.
So no matter what size you record at, if you want to share at a certain size, and that needs to be the size that you're editing at. So, and it's really easy to change. If you go to this drop down right here, which changes the zoom of your canvas.
So this is not actual size. This is the first numbers are actually just how it's zoomed in or out yard.
Yeah,
so you can work with it
It's
easier.
how you see it, not how your viewers will see it.
Got it.
So we go to adjust canvas. And there are a lot of presets, common sizes that people want to use, or you can type in the exact dimensions that you want. So that's really important to make sure that you're editing at the size you're going to share at before you get started editing. So the next really big thing that Camtasia 2 added were annotations. Before, Camtasia 1 had callouts and text, and it was okay, it got the job done, but in 2, they're really, really nice. They're over here in this tab, and we've got a bunch of different kinds. We've got text, callouts with text, arrows, shapes, highlights, blur, if you want to hide some text like passwords, things like that. They don't want others to see.
So it looks like just out of the gate, there's lots of things that I don't even have to think. I got lots more choices that are colorized. They're not black and white like they were.
Exactly.
Cool.
So like with everything else, you can just drag them onto the canvas, rotate if you want. Let's move it down here. Let's actually remove the text there. And so that, right away, easy, it looks nice. But the cool thing is you can really, really customize it to look exactly how you want. There's these boundary boxes. There's kind of this inner boundary box, and this allows you to change the shape of the tail or even the head. And then in the properties, if you open up the properties with this gear button over here on the right, then you see a lot more options. You can change the fill color. That's the color that's on the inside. Got several options. You can also, if you want a specific color anytime, you can click on the main circle, and then it opens up the Apple color picker, which I always have a hard time saying, and choose.
I like the crayons, actually.
The crayons are good. I like those. Let's see. Bubblegum, perfect. You can also get rid of the gradient. Some people love the gradient, some people really don't like the gradient. So you've got the option to move back and forth between those. You can actually change what kind you want right from the properties.
Oh, nice.
So that's kind of cool. And then we also have a line. So it's a boundary line. Right now you see the size is at 0. Let's increase that a little bit to make it visible. So now it's got this nice line. You can change the color of the line. You can give it a different style. Just, the options are, There's a lot of options.
And this is, and just to get a little bit more broad here, with all these types of effects or annotations, transitions, the properties window has lots of these options available. So it's really just getting in there and playing with some of the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of them will be right here. You notice at the top of the properties, there's these different tabs. Because this one has text, you know, I deleted the text, so it's gone. But if you've got the text, here's where you change, again, the color the same way. You can change the font, the size, justification. And then there's the general properties. And all callouts, all annotations, when you add them to your canvas, they're going to get a drop shadow. Now this drop shadow is black, so you can't see it. But if we want it to be viewable, let's just change it to white, and you can see that it's there. Let's move it over, and there we go. Now, it's really cool that I could make all these changes, but let's say down the timeline, I'm like, okay, I want to add a callout just like that. Well, now I have to go and redo all those changes, but actually you don't. Anytime you add a callout or any of the annotations onto your canvas, if you make any changes, you'll notice in the properties there's this little button up here that says Save. Now watch over here.
Okay.
What happens
so
when I click
left,
Save?
We're going to watch on our left.
Okay. So I click on Save,
boom.
And now it adds it, and I can, boom.
Very
Same
nice.
exact one.
Very cool.
So I only have to create it and customize it once, and then I can add it wherever I want.
Because we're getting short on time, obviously at TechSmith we want to make our customers as successful as possible. Is there anything else that you want to share with them about the new release for Camtasia for Mac?
Sure. We also added something called a tutorial viewer. It's in the Help menu. If you go to Tutorial Viewer, and it's easy access to a lot of the tutorials that we've created to help you be successful. There's our Getting Started course. We've also added the ability to view tutorials by tags. So very easy access right in there.
So you don't even have to leave the app to get your help. You do have to be connected to the internet though,
yes,
right?
Yes, you do.
Very cool. So if you've got feedback, you've got things you want to see in the tutorial viewer, you want to hear other tips, tricks, you can always email us at theforge@techsmith.com. Go to feedback.techsmith.com for Get Satisfaction. Conan will be patrolling in there looking for your guys' questions. And we go check out Camtasia for Mac too. It is an awesome release. I've played with it, and I think Conan has barely scratched the surface of some of the cool things that we can do. In fact, I have to give a plug, device frames. Fantastic.
Yes.
Just make sure, if you want to make your stuff look like it's in an Apple product, like a Mac or iPad, it looks pretty sweet. So we're gonna cut now to our next segment. We've got Daniel Park. Many of you probably don't know, Daniel Park doesn't live here in the United States, but he came over at the end of last month for a little visit. We sat down and got a chance to talk. And in this interview, if you just stick with it, there are a couple things I think are really valuable for anyone who wants to be a great screencaster of how you can get better. So we're gonna go to Daniel Park, this recorded piece right now. Hi, we're here with Daniel Park. We're going to be having a conversation today. Let you guys join in. Welcome, Daniel.
Hi.
How you been?
I'm vexed.
Vexed? Why?
Yes.
Why?
Should I tell you about the source of my vexation?
Yes, let's chat about that.
Okay. As a professional screencaster, I'm a member of various screencasting forums, some for regular users like the TechSmith user forums, and some that lean more toward people like myself who actually do this for a living, the few, the proud. Not too many of us out there, but there's a fledgling screencaster who made a post. He was kind of in a panic, and he said, I just discovered this site, and it was similar to Animoto. It wasn't quite Animoto, but it was something else. Animoto and its ilk, there's probably, its competitors are popping up like toadstools. And he said, people can get 50 videos for this low price. How can I, as a professional screencaster, possibly compete?
And they're probably decent looking videos too.
They're decent looking. Yes, basically you add photos, you add music, and it's supposed to spit you out a video. And he says, how can we possibly compete with this? And I emailed him back and said, okay, calm down. I don't blame, a beginning screencaster who's just embarking on this new career and is, wondering about the future and whether a robot is going to replace him at some point. But it happens that I get these kinds of inquiries from clients too, which makes me a little bit exasperated. You know, they see these Animoto videos with their pulse-pounding techno track and these very flashy, sexy, high-motion, almost seizure-inducing visuals, and they call me up and they say, "Oh, Daniel, we want that. Can you make that?" And I say, "Well, no, dummy, you can't." They're not dummies, actually. My clients are fiercely intelligent people.
Of course.
Also good-looking and good-smelling.
And generous.
Very generous, too. But it just gets me thinking about their expectations and what they want to see out of a screencast. I have another professional screencasting acquaintance, a gentleman by the name of Lon Naylor, and he has a motto listed on his website that's sort of a takeoff on the old ad campaign, "Friends don't let friends drink and drive," where he says, "Friends don't let friends make crappy videos," which is engaging and cute, but I think that a lot of clients and even a lot of providers don't really necessarily give a lot of consideration to what truly makes for a crappy video. When you ask the average person, even somebody who's fairly savvy at making a screencast, what makes for a crappy screencast, usually they zero in on the technical.
Right.
They'll talk about tinny sound. They'll talk about fuzzy visuals. They'll talk about a lack of call-outs, zoom and pan, captioning, all these features that you good folks keep adding to your products.
Absolutely. But I'm guessing that's not the case, right? That's not necessarily what makes for a crappy video. It could really ruin a video, but...
I think those are certainly considerations, but I don't think those are the real deal breakers. My definition of a crappy video is a video that does not do the job you commissioned it to do. Now, for a training screencast, that's a video that is not pedagogically sound, where you're not taking into consideration the core principles of educational multimedia, such as those that were, put forth by Richard Mayer.
Right.
For a marketing video, that can be, a dry listing of features rather than starting out with a hook followed by a listing of true, real-world, tangible benefits, guiding them ever so gently toward the sale, culminating in a really good call to action, making that promise, making that guarantee, getting the people to smack their foreheads and reach for their wallets.
Right.
So my issue is, how do we educate prospective clients on, what it is that they really should be looking for? We both, you as in TechSmith, you're the avatar for TechSmith, the embodiment.
That's a dangerous statement, but I'll play that role today.
Okay. TechSmith with Camtasia Studio and me with its corresponding book, both of us sort of endeavor to sell people on the notion that anybody can make a screencast.
Absolutely.
And from a technical perspective, it's true. But if you are endeavoring to make a quality screencast and all you're bringing to the table is technical acumen, but without any didactic or persuasive abilities to go along with it, you might be very good at making very ineffective videos.
They might look great, they might be technically accurate, but they might not work for what their intended purpose is.
They could be beautiful, but if they don't do the job that they're supposed to do, if they suck at doing their jobs, no amount of prettying it up is going to make it any better at that job, whether it's getting people trained up or whether it's making you money.
Absolutely. So we are getting short on time, So I guess are any thoughts on how someone might go about doing that? How do we help people to do that better, to make screencasts that are going to do the job they need to do and not just look good? I think you need both, but.
Well, first of all, people need to train themselves up. By Richard Mayer's book and some of the really good books on technical training. Become an adept copywriter and marketing person. Because when people ask me what I do for a living, I always say I'm a screencaster, but the more I think about it, the less accurate it seems to me.
It's a piece of it. It's something you do, but.
I'm a trainer. I'm a copywriter. I'm a marketer. And I happen to work in screencasting the way a painter works in oils or watercolor. So training yourself up is the first part of it. There's another part. There's a next level, which even I myself am only just getting into. And that is, it is increasingly possible nowadays to quantify success as a screencaster. Now, web metrics have been around for a number of years. Mm-hmm. And so it's possible to, if you're tracking a page, to see where they came from, how long they stayed, where they end up heading, and whether they ended up going through your sales funnel on the track that you put them on, or whether they jumped the rails. But the thing that's even more interesting and more useful about the emerging video metrics has precisely to do with how linear video is. When you're looking at a piece of web copy, you can see where they came from, where they went to, but you can't see where exactly their eye was resting on when they either decided to buy or when they decided to bail. With a video, you can hone in down to the second, down to the little thought where that person made their decision, yes, this is for me, or no, it isn't. And so what I'm working to do is increasingly to track what's happening with my videos. And even coming up in the near future on working with video and working with clients as part of an iterative process where, say, we're under a support contract and I can be in constant improvement of the video and even, say, split test one version of it versus another.
Awesome.
And we're just in the beginning phases of this, and it's really helping me figure out what truly works, something that I should have been knowing all along. I've been doing this for 8 years, and it's held some surprises for me as I've been doing this. For one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, I'm finding that so-called ugly videos, well, I mean, nothing I make is ugly, but, plain Jane ones that don't have a lot of motion graphics or, fancy things moving around the screen can often convert as well or better than the super sexy motion graphics.
Very cool. Now, we're going to wrap up here because we're just about out of time. Tell us a little bit, how's the book doing?
The book is going well. Camtasia Studio, the definitive guide, is available. It's dappertext.com. I've been getting a lot of feedback. I've gotten a lot of really great compliments about it. I've also gotten a lot of critical comments about the format, and we're going to be making some changes for the next edition. For one, I'm blowing away the DRM. It's often causes more problems than it solves, and we're going to be working on making the format a little less proprietary so that people can do cool things like put it on their iPads, their Kindles, and stuff like that.
Very cool. So if you guys want to check that out, we'll get a link out to you. Daniel, thank you for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
All the way from Spain to the studio. So happy to have him here and talk. And if you wanted more information, you can go out to dappertext.com, correct?
Yep.
Check out Daniel and his work. And if you're looking for a professional screencaster, Daniel just might be your guy. Thanks. All right, we want to thank Daniel Park, Conan Heiselt, and Jess Knot for coming on the show. And now, just so she doesn't have to stand there for very long, holding herself up so you can see her, I'd like to introduce Jo Sutka. Come on, Jo, come out in front of the camera. Jo is here. Jo is our, oh wait, I should probably drop the beard. We're getting to that in a second. Joe is our trade show manager. Joe, what is a trade show manager at TechSmith? What do you do?
Well, we have a team of people, and we coordinate all of the events that we go to, whether it's we do receptions, go to trade shows, and so we put everything together.
So if you've ever seen one of our trade show booths, Joe is one of the many people who work on that, but she's sort of the mastermind who makes sure that we are all taken care of when we're there working at the booth. So we got two things I want to talk about real quick. We'll get to the goodies here in a second, but first, you guys, Kelly, if we're going to switch to my screen, hey, remember the ScreenChamp things? Remember you could vote and like pick a best screencast? Guess what? Those are almost done. We're wrapping up voting on December 16th. So if you go to promo.techsmith.com/ScreenChamp, we'll put that in all the notes. You can get to the link so you can go and choose your favorite one. Guess what? Voting still goes. You still got some time. You can vote once per day, but please go vote. I'm going to just show you this real quick because the winner of the overall best, as well as our top in their each category, we had 3 categories, is going to win one of these bad boys. Look at that trophy. Isn't that going to be sweet? This is the mold for a custom-made, hand-carved Dan Nunez trophy. That guy can do almost anything. We wish we had one here, though, Dan. But pictures are going to have to suffice. And you'll notice he has a little bit of a wardrobe change. He shaved the beard. Okay, enough of ScreenChamp. Please do go vote because that means a lot to those people participating. They want to win a MacBook Pro. All right, Joe, now the reason we brought you on is because it's the holiday time. Whatever season you find yourself in, we've got some stuff to give away. What do we have to give away?
Well, one thing is this Jing t-shirt.
All sorts of sizes in the Jing shirt. Look at that. You can have your own custom shirt. All right, what else we got here? So, let's see if I can't put it over the microphone, though, can I, Kelly? So, put it over the shoulder. Okay, there's one.
A Camtasia Relay t-shirt.
That might be the only one I found in that. So, this is going to be kind of random. We're going to have you fill out a quick survey to get
Plus
your
a
chance at
rubber
some of this.
band.
Jess, this is for you. Ready? Woo!
Vintage Jing shirt.
This is going back to 2007, all the way back, although this one was probably printed a little later. Ooh, look at this.
A TechSmith hoodie.
Yes, Snagit 9 release. So that's when that was, after that's when they came out. Although this is a limited. We only have one of those. It is a medium, so only can do so much there.
A TechSmith water bottle.
You can taste the software goodness in every drink.
I like your ads. A monster mug. Nom nom. Very cute. Reusable.
Yes, ceramic.
Water. Ceramic.
And it's never been used. If you want, we can use it, but we don't have to. Okay, now I think there's a couple other things in there, so these are good. Let's put these out here.
These are the fancy.
A sport, titanium.
Dun dun dun.
Always a fan favorite, right? Again, not used, still in the plastic, so kind of not so creepy.
And chopsticks. TechSmith chopsticks. TechSmith branded.
I don't think those are gonna go. Got some sushi we want to have later. No, we'll get throw them in there. And we also got 2 copies of Camtasia for Mac. So what we need you to do, though, if you want to win some of the stuff, we will put your thing in a bag. Whatever you win, get probably
reusable.
one random thing. But here's what we need you to do. We want some feedback about theForge. It worked really well last month when we were giving away Snagit, so we want to do it again. We've got a bit.ly. Okay, it's a URL shortener, so you don't have to type in a bunch of weird numbers. http:// kind of standard opening for a URL. bit.ly, bit.ly/forge-dec, as in December-2011. Send us your feedback. Let us know. We'll post this link up with the blog. We'll put us on YouTube. We'll keep it open for a couple weeks up until time we get ready to leave around this place for the holidays and stuff like that. But we want to know what you want, and we got stuff to give away. We got more than one of these, too, so I'm just throwing stuff here. Thanks, Joe. Before we wrap up, again, #TSC, TSCForge. You can contact us on Twitter. You can email us at theforge@techsmith.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you guys want to see coming up in this next season, because we're not going to come back until January 19th. It's a Thursday, 2 p.m. like always. We've got our ScreenChamp Awards, the actual ceremony I expect there will be pandemonium, red carpet, and maybe some, other good stuff too. So check us out next year, Thursday, November 19th, November. I'm already way ahead of you guys. I'm living in the future. January 19th, 2 o'clock, ScreenChamp Award ceremony on theForge. So whatever your season you find yourself in, may your tech always work, your screens always be bright, and your pixels always be clear. Until next year, have a great season at theForge.